Hey, baseball fans, good to see you again. We are on our series of Where Are They Now? Former Texas Wesleyan baseball players and where are they now? This is episode 2. I'm Coach Garza, your head baseball coach. Along with me is Carlos Medina. Carlos is also a former baseball player at Texas Wesleyan. He was here from 1999 and graduated in 2003. Carlos is worked in the industry since 2001 as a news reporter, a producer, and a host. He is currently with you can hear him on weekdays on Sports Radio 680, The Fan in Atlanta, Georgia. Carlos, good to see you. Caden Williams, good to see you as well.
Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all.
It's good to be here, Coach.
Excellent. Well, let's get this started with episode 2 and Caden Williams.
Caden, I wanted to start right here because your Wesleyan playing career is a fascinating one, 2017 to 2019. And it's funny how life puts us in places that we need to find our way back to. And I've just, gotten a chance to hearing the story between you and Coach G. Take us through a little bit of that, because as Coach G was telling me, he didn't get you as a player for him until it was basically the second bite at the apple. Tell me about how that worked out and how basically, the baseball kind of brought you back to a situation with Coach that really kind of went, well for you moving forward.
So it was towards the end of the year at San Jac. We were having a really good year. We had a really good team, and we were working our way towards the World Series. And I was starting to really think about where I was going to go to school the next year, if it ended up I had to go to school. So I prayed about it a lot, talked about it a lot with my parents, and Coach Garza was just on me like a lot. Like he was all the time like, hey, how you doing? It wasn't even about baseball all the time. It'd just be about life. Like, how are you doing? Like, you're doing all right, this and that. But I had already, and then recently after that, I had committed to a school called Tennessee Wesleyan. And I had committed to that school because my cousin was going there as well. So we were kind of like a package deal. But then something ended up falling through and it didn't work out. So I was pretty much just stuck in the water. I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to play the next year. And then, of course, out of nowhere, I don't know how or why, Coach Garza just texted me and was just like, hey, like, what are your plans for next year? This and that. And it was weird because I didn't have the best feeling going into it about going up there to Tennessee and going out that far away and all that. I just didn't have the best feeling about it. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise that it had fallen through. And then, of course, I ended up forming a great relationship with Coach Garza throughout the time. And I don't know, it just seemed like it was where I was supposed to be, like you mentioned, with everything that I had gone through. And I don't know, it was very lucky for me to end up there with a man like Coach Garza.
Caden Williams is our guest as we continue this video series documenting the Where Are They Nows for a lot of the players that have played ball at Texas Wesleyan University. And I want to go through that. You were a guy that, and it's funny, Coach Garza has given me all these notes on you guys, and it really kind of speaks to how proud he was of not just the accomplishments you had at the university, but then where you guys are now, a 2-time all-conference player. How did your experience in what you went through, obviously kind of having to go through some struggles, then to get a really impressive collegiate career, how has that now led you into coaching, and what do you take from that into coaching?
I think it's just one of those things. I catch myself saying a lot that I've done what you're doing, or I've been there, and I don't know. I never realized how much I would take from my playing career into coaching. And especially, it's one of those things where when you go to college, you have coaches that you want to emulate. If you were to choose to be a coach, you always say, man, like, I would want to be like him, or man, I wouldn't want to be like him. And Coach Garza is really one of the main reasons that I chose to end up taking up coaching, because he really changed my perspective on it, made me feel so good about coming to the field every day. And it was just like one of those things. I was like, we more worked as a team. It wasn't like we were just like players. Like he had a good relationship with everyone, and it was all different because he knows more than anybody. You can't coach one kid the same way you coach the next. And he was really, really good at that, is getting through to all of the players and allowing me to, like you said, use my experience to kind of help the other guys along. And I feel like it helped mostly in the postseason, is when I could just be like, man, like, you got to realize why you play the game. We played it because it was fun. Like, that's why we play this game. It's not a job. Like, when you start start pressing and stuff like that, that's when it starts feeling like a job, and it's not supposed to be like that. And he was
Well, let
Go
me
ahead.
follow up on that real quick because I find that really something that I want to ask you about. Once you take something that is a sport that you played for fun and you keep that right mindset of this is fun. Okay, now you have as a profession, now you got a record attached to you. Now suddenly it's much more of a bigger deal where careers and lives are dependent on it. How has that changed your outlook now that you're coaching ball as opposed to playing ball?
It's changed a lot. I think it's just getting the guys every day to realize how important every little thing is because, uh, as you know, both y'all played, like the little things. I mean, it's a very cliche saying, but the little things turn to big things. But it's extremely true, especially being on the other side of it now. Just like allowing some kid to do the same thing every day rather than just spending some time and breaking it down to him and being able to do it the right way. It's just like things like that that will come out in a game, and then you may look back at it and be like, dang, like I should have just attacked it then rather than just let him doing it over and over again.
What is it then about being on that other side, coaching guys and seeing some of those changes where you go, okay, can I let that slide for now? Can I put the time in? How do you now, as you take that back to Coach Garza, do you ever look back and say, okay, now I get why he was doing it that way?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he was the first, like, so I was always one of the better players on my teams always growing up. But when I got to Texas Wesleyan, like I knew what I could do. I knew what I brought to the team, but he didn't allow people to think that they had any sort of feeling of running the team. Like he let us know that it was his team and we respected him that way as well. And I think that's why we were so successful because it was like we had a good relationship, but we still know who ran the ship.
Caden Williams is our guest as we look back at where are they now for a lot of Rams out there. And Caden, I'll tell you, I got permission from Coach G to ask you this. So what was the worst Coach G moment where you look back on it and you and the guys, when y'all get together, y'all joke around about that? Do you remember when we were here and he said this and he did this? He says it's cool if you get into it. What was that moment where you went like, okay, we will laugh about that the rest of our playing lives, the rest of our lives?
So there was a series. It was, I believe it was my first year there. So it would have been 2017. And we had a really good team. Our offense was extremely potent. Like we were very good. And we were starting to pick it up a little bit. And it was, me, Kiki Menendez, Luis Roman, and a kid named Aiden Larini. And we had just swept this team. We were feeling good. And I was like, yeah, like we're going into the weekend. Like we're about to have a good time, go do whatever, hang out. And he's like, yo, hey, y'all come here real quick. And I was like, what in the world is going on? Like, all right. Like, but he didn't seem happy. Like, it was like he was kind of upset. And then for like 20, 25 minutes, he just like goes from one to the next. He's like, what do you think you're doing right now? He's like, you think this is enough? Like, you think this is what it's going to take to get us to the postseason of the World Series, this and that? And it was just like by the end of it, we were like, yes, sir. Like, we're going to do what we need to do to take the team where we need to go. But he's if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, or if he doesn't think you're going as hard as you can, he's gonna like get in your face and get under your skin. That's just how it works. But that's how he gets the most out of people, and I'd never had that before. Actually, I have a good one. It was a very, very, very first day of practice at Texas Wesleyan, and I was taking ground balls, and I was kind of rattled because it was my first day, so I booted a couple, and then Coach Garza calls me over again, and he's like, says a few words in there that I was just like, I'm running back to second base, and I was just like, what in the world is going on? Like, what did I get myself into? But it was just like things like that if you're not, he's a very nice man and very understanding, but if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing or not what he asks you to do, then it's not going to be a good day.
Well, I'll tell you, the best coaches, they know when you need that slap on the back, and then they know when you need that butt chewing. And so, the fact that you figured it out like that and now taking it into your coaching career is such a huge deal. I want to finish this up with this. So if you have somebody that's potentially watching this video, and a lot of this is guys getting to look back on their careers and have some fun with it, but there's also people that are going to look at this and say, if I go there, what am I going to get out of it? What would you tell any of those kids that are playing high school ball, looking for where they're going to play next, whether they're recruited or they're looking for the right opportunity? What can you tell them about your experience at Texas Wesleyan?
Well, one thing that I do take a lot of pride in is as Coach G was saying, that we were kind of the core group that started with him, and I take a lot of pride in that because Coach Garza is a very good man, as everybody knows around there, and it kind of started with us. So I kind of just tell them that the guys that are coming in or that may be transferring in, that they got to keep the culture going. It's a winning culture. They're not going to expect anything less. Just go in there, work hard. Coach Shopping and Coach G will be your best friend if you work hard, give everything you got, and just do what you're asked to do every day. And just go in there knowing that you're going to have an identity no matter what it is. And just, you may have to swallow pride to find your place on the team, but that's just how it works. That's life. And it may be harder for some guys to learn other than others, but I was one of those guys. I was one of those guys that had to swallow my pride, and I'm not the one who's running the ship, and it's not going to be that way for y'all, for all of you at least. Some of you are going to be the guys that are leaders and that, but you just got to fall in line and help the team win as everyone else did before you. And that's really all it is, just hard work, dedication, focus, keeping your grades up in the classroom is a big thing. That's another good reason to keep Coach G off you is keep your stuff up in the classroom too. So it's just the basic things, but I mean, it really is asking a lot for kids that are coming in. It's not just a place that you're going to go and lollygag around. You're a lot of expected of you, especially around campus, to have a good representation of the program on and off the field.
Well, Caden, I now understand why Coach was so interested in getting you on with this thing. I know he's very proud of you. I know he talked about your offensive abilities and what you meant to those teams. Coach, it totally makes sense. I get why you wanted him in this thing.
Yeah, definitely. Caden hit anywhere between 2, 3, 4. He even led off for us. And, he's a special individual. There's times where I could just tell by watching him for a few minutes of what I needed to tell him, what we needed to tell him to get him going. It could be something as simple as calling him over like we did in the first practice, and when he's struggling, saying, "Hey, Caden, you ever played soccer?" And maybe you oughta, and just to see him smile would change his mentality. And then the next 10 minutes of fielding ground balls, you saw a superstar. So it was really good to have Caden within our program. He's done so much for us than we can ever do for him, and we really wish him and the Gators down in San Jac well moving forward. And to have him and his dad there, and all the great coaches they've got there. It's a special program down there. We've been fortunate to get some guys from San Jac to come our way, and Caden's going to be a great coach one day, and I know he's working towards that right now. So we're very proud of him, and we're grateful to have Caden that have come through our program.
Yeah, best of luck, Caden. Continued success, and like I said, look forward to everything you're going to be accomplishing and coaching down the road, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on. It was fun.